Now, back in the day, you used to do prank phone calls off
Yes.
of the payphone in the back.
Yes.
And what we would do is there would be a thing at your table to write your phone number. And at one day, my mom had all her friends over for Pochino. And you called up my mother and told my mother that you were the New Brunswick Police Department and that her son had been arrested for soliciting a prostitute.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
My mother believed you without any questioning whatsoever.
Well, if you remember correctly, the prostitute you were with said, do the joke.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Then it escalated to...
So she was just like, how much is bail?
Yeah. And then you knew that, I knew that she thought it was real because then immediately she goes, Gerard, it's your son! Calls my father into the room, and my father, in the thickest Brooklyn brogue he can, goes, who the fuck is this? And then from there, you proceeded to get his goat all the way. And now he's trying to one-up you the whole time. Like, oh, yeah, you're in that police department. Do you know Johnny Rocks in that police department? Yeah, I know Johnny Rocks. He said you're a piece of shit, is what you're saying to my father. Then you escalated to where, listen, we were going to let it go, but we've never seen a midget prostitute beat up this bad before.
Oh, my God.
Greatest night of my life.
Oh, thank you.
My mom, not as happy with you. And she's come here to exact revenge. So be careful. That
Watch
table
out
over
for that
there.
table over there,
Yeah.
buddy.
If I could, is that your mom right there?
That's my mom
Nice
right
to see
there,
you.
yep.
I'm going to tell you a quick funny story
Yeah.
about a phone call. So there's a kid in the front row, and he's with a girl, and I tell the mother, and he's a perfect little Jewish kid. He's dressed just perfectly, looks like he just came from the library, and a very nerdy kid. And I called his mother and said something similar, either with a prostitute or a biker bar, whatever it was, and the mother goes ballistic on the phone. And she's yelling. She's like, I can't believe it. So I let her off the hook, and she does not think it's funny. So the kid runs outside, and he calls his mother from his cell phone. He's out here before the tent, and I hear him on the cell phone. He's going, Mommy, please, Mommy, don't be mad at me. And it's going on for so long. And I'm going, kid, let me talk to her. He's going, no. And then he's saying, Mommy, please don't let Daddy break my computer. I swear to God. Now, I go, put her on hold. And he put the phone like this. I go, kid, you got to go on the offensive now. You've already apologized 100 times. It's a joke. You have to tell her that you can't believe that she would think that her son would do that. So the kid, he's shaking. He goes, Mom, you know what? If Dad wants to break my computer, tell him go ahead. I can't believe you believed I did that. Now, with that, he hangs up the phone. He goes, I got to go home. I'm going to throw up. I go, no. Go in and enjoy the show and relax. He goes in. He leaves. He's a nervous wreck. About 6 months later, a kid comes in, dressed like Fonzie. I swear to God, he's got a blonde girlfriend with gigantic boobs. And I'm like, man, I know this kid.
You made a man out of him that night.
Changed his life.
I swear to God.
You made a man out of him.
He came in here with Enzo's attitude.
Let me tell you.
He's in jail now. He tried to buy heroin from me outside.
He was so different. I said, kid, I know you. He goes, you called my mother. And I go, wait a minute. Were you that little nerdy Jewish kid? He goes, yeah. He goes, I went home. My mother was all pissed off. I just stuck with what you told me to do. And since that day, she's been off my ass, and I changed my whole life. I saved that kid's life.
And now he's Andrew Dice Clay.
and that young boy was Andrew Dice Clay. That's amazing. So we're going to put you on the spot here, Ben. We're running out of time. You're fantastic. Thank you so much for having us here tonight, man. All your years of doing this, one night stick out above the rest? Was there one comic, one night that the roof was just blown down and you were like, this is all worth it? Having to come to work every day in New freaking Brunswick, New Jersey, for this night.
You want me to tell you the one night?
The one night, yep.
Okay, so I'll tell the story quick. My mother used to work here at the door, and she got leukemia, and she was dying. And in February, they told her, you can never work again. And she was in the hospital. She was very upset. And we have Brian Regan coming up in May. So on her hospital room wall, I wrote, whatever it was, May 11th, you have to work. It's Brian Regan when we sold out. And my mother said, I'll be there. Now, this is in February. Now, the doctor pulls me aside 4 different times and says, you have to stop telling her that she's going to work. She'll never work again. You can't tell her that. You can't give her false hope. And I said to the doctor, if my mother thinks she's going to come back to work, who the hell are you to tell her she can't? Now, she gets out of the hospital on that Tuesday, As we're leaving the hospital, the doctor said, Marion, I'm serious. You have no immune system left. You cannot be out in public. You cannot work. Because the nurses erased it. I'd write it back up there. So she goes, I won't, doctor. I won't. I get her outside. My mother goes, fuck that, doctor. I'm working. I swear to God. Now,
Jersey.
she comes in and she works. Brian Regan knows none of this. He knows none of it. Brian Regan's one of my favorite comics. He does a 1-hour set, and when he gets done, the room stands up so quick. It's such a big standing ovation. It's so loud. And I'm going, Brian Regan. And they're going ballistic. And Regan turns back around, walks up the stage and says, hey, would you mind if I did a few more minutes? And I go, Brian, I'd love that. Now I'm looking at my mother. She's beaming. He knows none of this. A second hour. And gets a second, even bigger standing ovation. It was the last night my mother worked here. And she got to work with one of her comic heroes who just serendipitously, that means, out of the blue.
Thank you.
He did.
I know words good.
He did 2 1-hour standing ovation shows. I'll never forget it. And I told him the story a year ago in the back here over a drink. And he said, man, he goes, that's one of the best stories I've ever heard.
That's unbelievable,
That's
man. That's unbelievable.
Pretty fucking cool.
Brian Regan. Fantastic. Oh, we have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, a special guest
Whoa.
to the Sling and Think podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the President of the United States, Joe Byron, ladies and gentlemen.
What the heck? Gerard, I said we weren't going to get political tonight.
It's the President, Mickey. It's the President. Show some.
What the heck? Hey, Mr. Biden.
I'm Joe President by the United States. America, come on, man. I got, excuse me. I got hairy legs. They turn blonde in the summer. Kids come up and I love kids. This guy knows, come on, man. And that's what it is. You don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Mr. President, thank you so much for gracing our stage this evening. Mr. President, what do you think of Vinnie Brand Stress Factory?
I think, look, come on, and look, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. This is, look, and no serious dates till you're 35, okay? That's what it is. Look, Vinnie Brand's the comedy club. It's a great spot. It's the slick and the fat guy. That's what it is. Bringing back dignity to the Stress Factory, and that's okay. Come on, man.
Gee, I really didn't think we were going to get political,
Take you out
but you
behind
got
the
Biden.
schoolyard.
Joe
Take
Biden.
you out behind the tent. I'll show you what it's all. These tough guys. When my dad one day pointed out a guy. Year was 1920. He said, "Excuse me." He said two gentlemen. They were having butt sex. And my dad got down on it. God love him. God love him. Look, got down on his knee. Year was 1903. He said, son, those 2 gentlemen of color happen to be African American. He said, those 2 men, Muslim guys, and they were look. He said those guys are in love, and that's okay.
President Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen.
Get the hell out of here, Biden.
4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. In Canada. All right.
Hey, nobody hurt President Biden.
President Biden can't not hurt President Biden. The stairs
tell
hurt
you.
President
Yeah,
Biden.
careful. Watch your steps, sir.
That is now the funniest night at the Stress Factory.
Here we go.